Hi guys, welcome to another video. Thanks for checking in. Video number 5 I think, or it might be number 6, and if you're one of the 30 odd subscribers that have been along for the ride so far, thank you so much. If it's your first time here, welcome. The whole point of these videos really is to kind of document my journey, so to speak, of trying to become a sort of better landscape photographer. So like I said, muddy, in one of my earlier videos, you know, I've done a lot of photography in my life, sort of street photography, documentary stuff, travel, all sorts really, but never really in any landscape photography. So yeah, I thought I'd kind of lean into it really, given that I live in the lakes, have a pretty kind of cool landscape right on my doorstep, and I get to travel quite a lot around the country to kind of Scotland, North Wales, sometimes overseas with my job as a mountaineering instructor, so it seemed to make sense to tie the two together. So thanks for coming along. I hope you kind of learn stuff, as at the same time that I learn stuff, kind of learn from my mistakes, I guess. What I thought I'd do today is have a look for some photos as usual, yeah, but I thought I'd document kind of what gear that I'm using at the moment for my photography. Partly because I know, like, you guys as fellow photographers love a good gear chat, but partly because I thought it'd be interesting just to kind of document where it's at now, and then maybe return to it in 12 months if I'm still making these videos. Let's hope I am, and just see how things have changed, and just see whether things have changed because, you know, of a need in my photography. You know, maybe I've got more into wide angle stuff, maybe I've got more into kind of longer shots or whatever, or maybe it's just like a kind of, you know, want different gear, want a change sort of thing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and find a few photographs, hopefully share them with you. We'll have a chat about the gear that I've got. Let's do it. So the first thing that's definitely worth mentioning that I absolutely love, I've been using these for years, since they first came out, even before I got kind of into landscape photography and stuff, and these clips from Peak Design. If I kind of pan down and show you here, it just kind of lives on my rucksack. And you know, I move this between rucksacks depending on what I'm doing, whether I'm working on the hills with clients or whether I'm out with you guys taking photographs. And the other end of it is there on the bottom of my camera, and if you've not seen these before, you're in for a treat. So basically, one-handed, hopefully, it just slides into there like that. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. It just holds my camera super steady. If I want to get my camera, all I need to do is just press the little button on the right hand side and out pops the camera ready to shoot. I'm a big believer in having my camera ready to shoot kind of all the time, you know. I don't really think that it works that well carrying it around in my bag, and alright it does if I kind of come across quite a nice landscape shot that I want to shoot, because I'll stop and I'll get the camera out and I'll compose and I'll take the shot. But you know, if I'm just wandering around and I see a shot and the camera's in the bag, I'm probably going to be lazy and just not get it out and potentially miss the shot. So walking up here today, you know, there's been some lambs running around, stuff like that, stuff that I might not normally kind of look to shoot, but because the camera was here, just being able to grab it and just grab that shot straight away. So I totally recommend them, and they're super secure as well. So we're on top of the hill that's kind of next to Reston Scar now, and unfortunately it looks like we're kind of losing the light. It's another half an hour or so to sunset, but as you can see there's this absolutely gigantic cloud over here, which is yeah, really blocking the kind of nice light from coming across the fell. And I don't actually think that the sun is going to drop below it. I was hoping it might drop below it and we'd get that kind of nice, kind of soft, like real last of day sunlight just lighting up the bottom of the cloud base. But there is a little gap kind of over there, but yeah, it doesn't look kind of that amazing, to be honest. But you know, we're out and about. We might not get any photographs tonight, but I'll just continue to take you through that kind of bit of a gear chat. Hopefully it'll be interesting to you. Cool, so I'll go through some of the other kit that I've got at the moment, what works for me and what doesn't. So like I say, I've got my little catcher clip, yeah, I'll come back to the camera in a little bit, but I'll just show you the kind of pack that I use at the moment. So I've looked high and low for a decent photography pack, and like there's some out there, right, but they're so expensive. And at the moment I just can't justify kind of hundreds of pounds just on a rucksack when I've got tons of them. So I had this idea, and I've got this kind of ski touring pack. So if you ski tour, you will have heard of these guys, Ortovox. And this is the Haute 32 litre. It's basically designed for ski touring, right? And ski mountaineering, that sort of thing, which I do quite a bit of, but you know, not usually at the same time as landscape photography. So the great thing about this pack is it kind of is a similar shape, right, to the photography packs that you get out there, and it's quite boxy, so it's quite close to the back, so it's quite nice to carry. It's got loads of kind of useful pockets and all that jazz, and it quite nicely carries a tripod on the side there. And you know, I've got two tripods with me today. The other one is filming me. Well, it's not filming me, but it's holding the camera, right? And the other one fits on there quite nicely. And the thing I like about this, which I like about photography packs, is it opens from the back, right? So you still got that kind of really cool design, and you can just access stuff, he says, super easily from the back. So it's just a good tip if you've got a pack walking around, knocking around, rather than go and spend hundreds of pounds. See if you can kind of use something that's already hanging up in your garage. What I've done here as well, right, because I want some padding and some sort of organisation from my photography kit. I've got one of these things from Peak Design again, and this is called the Photography Cube or something like that, I think. I'll put the all the links to like the kit like down in the description of this video. But yeah, I think it's called a Cube, and I'm pretty sure this is the medium. And again, I'll check that out. And basically what you've got is just this kind of padded box, okay? You get a padded lid, but you can take the padding out just to make it less kind of bulky. And as you can see, it's kind of got all these kind of removable dividers like you get in any kind of photography pack, okay? And what that enables you to do is just slot that into there super easily, and voila, we've got ourselves a photography backpack with a bit of space in the pockets and everything for some layers and whatnot. And I think it works an absolute treat. But this backpack has got quite a reinforced back on it, so that just means that I don't really need the lid on here, the padded lid. I can just have that, you know, keeping things nice and safe, and it's all really accessible. This probably cost about 40 quid. I already had the pack, or £300 for a bespoke pack. I don't know, I like it. It kind of works pretty well. Yeah, so camera wise at the moment, this is like such a personal thing, isn't it? But at the moment I'm on Nikon. I spent years with Nikon, various different Nikons through the kind of film era and then the early digital era before I kind of left looking for something else, and I'm not really sure what. And recently, in the last sort of 12 months, I've gone back to Nikon, and I'm shooting at the moment with the Z7ii, which I flipping love. Basically, I think it's fantastic. I just feel at home with it, which just feels a bit sad really, isn't it, being at home with a branded camera? Maybe it isn't. Yeah, so to go with my kind of Nikon body, I've only got two lenses at the moment, but it's working quite well. I've had two lenses for, you know, 6 months or so, and just been pretty happy with it. Currently shooting on the 24-120, which is f4 all the way through. I don't feel like I need anything faster than f4, to be honest, not for landscape photography anyway, and that's what this lens is kind of for in my mind. You know, it's not that compact really, so if I'm going out kind of mountaineering and climbing, that doesn't really come with me, but it's a really useful focal length, I think, 24-120 full frame, for kind of landscape work. So yeah, that's kind of what I go with. Probably have noticed as well that on the bottom of my camera I've got this bracket. Keen landscape photographers out there that you're going to know what that is straight away. It's basically an L bracket, and this one's made by, who knows, basically it's a cheap one. Just didn't fancy spending 100 odd quid on a kind of fancy one. This seems to do the job, and it kind of lives on my camera pretty much all the time, unless I'm out kind of mountaineering, and I know I'm definitely not going to use a tripod. But it's just super useful just to be able to mount the camera in portrait or in landscape mode, you know, without kind of any faff at all when you're shooting on a tripod. And what I've done as well is I've just put my Peak Design capture clip, can you see on the bottom there, bracket on the bottom of the tripod, so when I'm shooting in landscape mode I use that to mount the camera, because basically arc Swiss compatible. When I'm in portrait mode, I can go the other way. Yeah, so that's kind of my camera setup really. The only other thing I have are these little kind of peak design clips, just to enable me to easily kind of clip in and out of a strap. They just kind of stay on there permanently, really. I find they work really well. Other stuff that lives in my bag that I carry, I mean, I keep it pretty minimalist, to be honest, but filters wise, I use a set of Kase filters, and these are fantastic. So these will just basically magnetized, so they'll just literally clip onto my lens, don't come off at all, and then off they come again. So it's like really simple. They do cost a few quid, but I think they're really worth it, just rather than faffing around screwing them on. And I just have a set of a circular polarizer, an ND64 and an ND8, so that's a 6 and a 3-stop filter basically, which kind of find is like works for kind of 90% of stuff. I think a 10-stop would be kind of useful as an additional one, but that does work as quite a nice little set. And what I've done is I've sized them for the biggest diameter lens that I have, and I've got a step-up ring on the end of this lens just to take it to the next size up in case it's filter sizes, just to make sure that I definitely don't get any vignetting at 24mm, which I don't. Even when I stack 2 filters, 3 filters, I don't have any issue at all. So other stuff in the bag apart from the filters, I basically have one spare battery and a few little bits and bobs like tools and stuff like that to fix my tripod, you know, lens cloth, spare memory card, that sort of thing. The only other thing worth talking about from a kind of camera system perspective is I have a second lens which doesn't really come out with me very often. It doesn't come out on landscape shoots at all. It just comes out when I'm climbing or mountaineering or out with clients, basically because it's super small. So this is a 26mm f2.8 kind of pancake lens. If I take off the front and rear caps, you'll see it's actually really small, and if I just put that on the camera, you end up with a really compact system for a mirrorless, really. On the capture clip, it really isn't that obtrusive. You can even shove it down your coat while you're kind of climbing or mountaineering or whatever. This is obviously a prime, it's 26mm, quite a nice focal length, and it's not a bad lens. It gets some kind of poor reviews or some substandard reviews that it's not so sharp in the corners and stuff. And you know what, compared to that, it's definitely not that sharp in the corners, but you know, it's good enough, and this sensor's good enough that you can always kind of crop it if you need to. I find it perfectly fine for what I do on the crag and stuff like that. I'll put some photos on now, you can see for yourself. So tripod wise, I've been through a lot of tripods in my life. I've had some expensive tripods, I've had some cheap tripods, and what I'm on at the moment, and I think it's okay, is here. You know, I've kind of gone for a carbon tripod because I want to save a little bit of weight, and I've gone for kind of what you might call a kind of travel series. Could be better, could be a lot worse. This is a Leofoto Ranger LS-324C. And the head on it is Leofoto's LH-40 for what it's worth. And this is a ball head, okay? I quite like this tripod, just to give you kind of an idea of height. This is the tripod setup, like with the camera on. That's the kind of height you get. I'm kind of 5'8", 173-ish centimeters. And to take a shot here, basically I need to kind of stoop to about this level, which for me is totally fine. Yeah, I don't really have much of an issue with this tripod, to be honest. It didn't come with this little hook for your bag. I had to buy this separately, which was kind of annoying because it wasn't cheap. You know, it was quite an expensive part, to be honest. But other than that, it's pretty good. Pretty happy with it. It's not going to be super stable in really strong winds, but to be honest, if it's really gusty, then you're probably not going to be relying on a tripod for kind of longer shutter speeds anyway. You're going to be trying to boost your ISO or do something to kind of get those shutter speeds up. So yeah, I think it works. I recommend it. Yeah, so that's me basically. If you've enjoyed this video, guys, you know, do me a favor, right? Hit the like button. The algorithm with YouTube is just so bizarre. You know, I had a video recently and it did kind of okay for a new channel and was getting kind of quite a lot of interest relative, you know, and then suddenly it just dropped off a cliff. So yeah, if you do have an opportunity just to kind of hit that like button or maybe even subscribe, that'd be absolutely amazing. Kind of, if I know that folk are out there kind of enjoying this content and getting something out of it, even if it's just pure entertainment about my terrible filmmaking, then you know, let me know. It would be ace to hear from you. So yeah, I'm going to check out now. I'm wandering back down the hill, trying not to fall over. It's actually getting pretty dark. And yeah, it's back home, and yeah, it's time to plan the kind of next adventure really. Go and take some actual photographs rather than just wittering on about gear. Okay guys, have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye.